Excuse me, but is this seat taken? In this episode, Kat reviews the chill puzzle game Is This Seat Taken, where you make sure that shapes are sitting where they need to be. Leah scratches the farming sim itch, but this time with a little whimsy, magic, and programming in Ritual of Raven. The podcast game of the week is called What Came First? Challenging our release schedule memories. It's a new week. That means a new podcast episode. So let's get started.
Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast, your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Hello and welcome to another Girls on Games podcast. My name is Leah and I'm the host of this show. This is episode number 504 and it's a Leah and Kat extravaganza. Hi, Kat.
Hello.
Joelle is in the thick of moving and maybe hurting herself in the process, poor thing. So yeah, it's just you and me today. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yourself?
I'm good. We were just saying we both had a Monday.
Yeah.
And I know this comes out on Thursday, but still.
The Monday was Mondaying hard today, I think, for all of us.
Yes. All right, let's get through some housekeeping. If you enjoy this show, you can subscribe. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. If you'd like to get some GOG merch, you can do that by going to designbyhumans.com/shop/girlsongames. Maybe you'd like to give us a tip, maybe buy us a coffee. You can do that by going to our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/girlsongames. Kat, you finished up your vacation. Unfortunately, tail end ended up with a fever, so that is a little bit of a party stopper.
Yeah, it was not a fever for more cowbell. Unfortunately, it was.
Damn it!
An actual, how do I keep catching these colds? Because, I spent, most of June and early July, getting over laryngitis and not having lost my voice for, something like fucking 3 weeks. And then I wake up Thursday. We had plans because, it was our anniversary, our 20th. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Thursday, we're going to go to the spa. And then Friday, we're going to have dinner. And then Saturday might be plans with my mom because it's her birthday on Saturday. I wake up Thursday, complete, my head, complete cinder block head. You know what I mean? Just oh God. So I go see Pascal. I'm like, I can't fucking, no, I'm sorry. So I had pre-booked a taxi to get us to the spa. I canceled that shit. I called the spa because I had reserved our entry and they were no cancellation, no reimbursement, stuff like that. Tip, if you call and you're nice, usually they have flexibility. I call them and I was like, I realize that I have no right to ask for this, but I am sick and I have a fever. And is there anything you can do? Because I don't want you charging my credit card because I was actually going to pay with a gift card for today. Mm-hmm. I have gift cards, right? And they're like, oh, for gift cards, you have to be on site, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. But what we learned during the pandemic is when you're sick, you stay home. So she was like, I'll talk to my manager. Essentially, if you have a good reason, stuff's cool. She says, oh, we can let you reschedule. I was like, cool. And I reschedule it for later. So we're going to go on I have Friday afternoons off in the summer. We have summer hours. So in a couple of Fridays from now, we're going to go to the spa. And then Friday was our dinner. We had a reservation and everything at a place called Impasto, which is a shocking an Italian restaurant in Little Italy in Montreal. Fun fact, it's on Dante Street. And the restaurant across from us was called Inferno.
That was intentional, I think.
Yes. And I just looked and I was like, I should have booked Inferno. I have no idea what kind of restaurant, if it's fancy enough for an anniversary. I was just like, I should have booked Inferno.
Just because it's on Dante Street.
Just because of the pun. Yeah.
I mean, it's too good. It's our kind of pun.
I was like, game recognizes game. But yeah, the food at where we went was amazing. I love places when they have discovery menu. They were like, hey, 5 services, $95 a person.
Mm.
You eat what we bring, and we were like
Mhm.
sold. Especially me, because I was like, I had taken so many Tylenols to be like, get this fever down. I show up with like a mask, and we walk into the restaurant, and it is boiling hot.
Yeah, heat wave right now.
Yeah, so their AC is a decoration, I guess. It was not keeping up. As soon as the restaurant got full, it was so bad.
Yeah, with all those hot bodies and all that hot Italian food.
Yeah, and the open concept kitchen. So like just the heat of the kitchen.
The heat coming through.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
So poor Pascal was struggling because he doesn't do well with heat. I was sick, so I was like, I was sweating no matter what was going to happen.
Let's refrain that. Pascal does do well with heat when there's a pool involved or the beach.
Yes. Just not in his everyday life.
Yeah, and not sitting in the middle of an Italian restaurant trying to have a nice dinner.
Exactly. But even when we were in Mexico, like the AC was blasting in our room.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Because he was like, fuck this. It's fine when I'm in the pool. Outside the pool, he hates it. So he was struggling. So we ate, and then we left. And as soon as we walked out of the restaurant, it had significantly cooled down. There was a breeze, and I was just like, holy shit. And so yeah, and when we got home in the air conditioning, like Pascal just like walked straight into the bathroom and just straight into the shower. That's what he did. It was just like, it was so bad. I thought it was like okay, but again, I was sick. I was sweating anyway. So and you know, once you get to the end of the summer, I get used to the heat. I just gotta like roll with the punches. But
yeah,
the food was amazing. We had homemade focaccia with like ricotta cheese. There was carpaccio. There was 2 types of pasta dishes. We had like gnocchis and with a tomato sauce. And then there was like penne with a meat sauce. They told like I said, I was barely catching everything they said. And then we had a meat dish, which was like a pork, like a not braised, but cured pork with like veggies and beans and stuff like that. It was really good. And then dessert was, of course, cannoli and a homemade apricot and salted caramel ice cream.
That sounds delicious.
It was all amazing. Pascal had beer and wine. I just had 1 gin and tonic that I like pretty much nursed the whole night. But yeah, it was really good. It wasn't that expensive, all things considered. $95 a person for 5 services, and it wasn't like a tapas situation. Like when I say we had 2 pasta dishes, they brought like 2 bowls of pasta. Like I could have ordered like the gnocchi, and Pascal could have ordered the meat pasta, and it would have been like we each eat our bowl basically. So it was like full portions. We were really full. I also, because I was sick, I wasn't eating as much as I usually do. So Pascal had to like, he did a bit of overtime.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't mind.
Yeah, because he was like, you're not going to, because like the pasta dish with the meat was very salty. And for some reason, it was delicious. But after 2 bites, I was like, no, this is not it. So I kind of like ate mostly like just the veggie, like the gnocchis. I don't know what happened. I think it was like just because I couldn't get the full flavor. All I could taste was the salt. And I was just like, yeah, this is.
Yeah,
I'm not enjoying this. I didn't get the full depth of flavor of the dish. So, but yeah, other than that, it was delicious and it was really fun. And then Saturday, I just kind of slept. I slept a lot basically to get this fever out. And by Sunday, I was fine.
Good.
I still have a bit of congestion going around and stuff like that, but it's just like, it was so weird. It was just like, fuck those 2 days in particular.
Those 2 days said nope.
And it was like, that was the tail end of my vacation. So I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do. It was basically a bust. But it's fine. I mean, it's time off. I'll get to do the stuff I wanted to do. The stuff that were on my to-do list, like cleaning and shit. I'll get to it later. Labor Day weekend's around the corner, like in
It's true. It's really close. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we're already it's already the 11th of August. Where did the time go? Fuck.
I don't know, girl. I'm not gonna lie, I've been looking at Halloween stuff. Anyways, we won't go down that rabbit hole because they've influenced me on the freaking TikToks and then in the stores and whatever, and seeing the
I'm okay with
this
but give me the weather that comes with it. I'm not shopping for Halloween when it's feels like 40 degrees Celsius outside.
No, it's like you're dreaming about it. No, because it feels like 40 out there, and it's like you go outside and you're melting.
Yeah. I was getting the back to school shopping, get some cozy sweaters. I
I
in this
want to
weather,
try it on.
In this economy?
True.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Last week for me was way less dramatic. So I'm happy that got past all of that chaos. It was just kind of a normal week. I just worked and then came home, played games and whatever else, and it was kind of nice. We've got some busy weeks coming up, so it's kind of the way I want it to be. Just go work, come home, play games, go to bed. That's it. I did start watching Wednesday though, and so I watched the first episode so far. I'm being really slow with watching it, but
is this a new season or is it just your first time watching?
No, it's a new season that just started. They just released the 4 first episodes, and then 4 more coming later in September, I think. I like the Addams Family. I love that macabre style. And I think that's also helping with the whole trying to make me feel like Halloween is a thing.
Yeah,
now.
Of course.
Because that, and I was seeing so many videos of the premieres and stuff like that too, and I just like the fashion from it, and
the casting also is great in the show.
So good. Oh my god, they did such a good job.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Fantasy Critic. Not as crazy week as last week. On the podcast league, Is This Seat Taken released, which we will be talking about later because Catherine has played it.
Yes.
And it is on her list. The unfortunate thing, Kat, is the system says needs more reviews. So I guess we might just have to wait a little bit for that to pop off. That one was interesting because that was shadow dropped in the
Indie Direct
last week. So, we were kind of waiting for a release date. It said sometime soon, August-ish.
Yeah.
And then, it came last week.
But last time I looked at the Fantasy League, the game didn't have a Metacritic link. So that means now, the update is they have a page. So now they need to wait for the reviews to come in.
Now they wait. On the bids front, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, The Order of Giants. Catherine, you won that with a bid of $5. In turn, you dropped the game Final Fantasy Tactic, the Valis Chronicles, conditionally, and it worked. I guess because you did it conditionally. So I think it counts as a drop, but not as an official drop because you did it conditionally only if you got the other
swap.
one.
Yeah,
it's a swap one for the other. Yeah. So there's no bids this week. Elsewise, the current standings is Joelle, Kat, and myself in that order.
And it's still very close.
So close. In the Community League, 3 games released. Mafia: The Old Country, which was on NJK's list. A critic of 76, which means 6 points. Additionally, Chained Echoes, Ashes of Elrant, was on Fred's list. Critic of 71, which means 1 big point. Kat, once again, you had Is the Seat Taken on your list. Similar thing. Needs more reviews. The bids this week was essentially a real scramble for Battlefield 6.
It was a Battlefield for Battlefield.
Yes, it was a Battlefield for Battlefield. I like that. So, in the order of didn't get it, then till get it, Albang bid $6, and he did not succeed. He was outbid Darth Stridius, aka Kyle, was bid $12 and it did not succeed. Pat then bid for $17, but in the end, NJK won with a bid of $21.
Hey, big spender.
We also had as someone who decided they wanted to jump on a unannounced mainline Half-Life game. Wow, that's hard to say in a sentence. Mainline Half-Life game. Whoa. Okay. It was won by Pat with a bid of $3 as a counter pick. So he decided that's the one he wanted to jump on. There were no drops this week. So when it comes to the rankings, if I scroll to the top of the Fantasy League, Pat is in first. Then it's Margot, Elbang, Ross, Fred, Jessica, myself, Phoenix, Kat, Simon, NJK, Darth Stridius, Stainsby Kingsby, and Joelle. And once again, Joelle remains without a single point or a single game released so far. Keeping that train trucking. I wonder how long it's going to take. Let's just go look at, for shits and giggles, let's just go look at what Joelle has on her list. So, Grand Theft Auto 6, which obviously got moved to next month.
She could super drop.
Unannounced mainline 3D Mario platform. Maybe, probably not. Dave the Diver in the Jungle. Moved to next year. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. Not releasing this year. Coffee Talk Tokyo. I guess that may. Mouse PI for Hire. Yes. Is I think is supposed to come out this year. And then World of Warcraft Midnight. Additionally, her counter picks are 33 Immortals and Mina the Howler. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens for Joelle in Little Fantasy Critic for the Community League.
If she's doing so well in the podcast, but the community one is crash and burn.
Yeah. It's just like, how is it possible that not a single game is released that she had? It's crazy. Now, she doesn't have a full roster, right? Because she may have just given up.
I think so. But like after the Nintendo Indie Direct, you could go on a spending spree there.
Yeah. I guess it just depends. It has to be what's going to come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're midway through August this week. We've only got a few months left. And like not much comes out past like the first week of December.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was actually chatting with Naomi Kyle today. And I was talking about it. I was like, what do we have left? I'm like, I feel like a lot of the big things pushed out of this year. I'm like, I know I got Pokemon. I know there's a Call of Duty. There's, of course, Battlefield. I mean, what are we getting? Oh, Ghost of Yotei.
Right. I keep forgetting about Ghost of Yotei. In my head, it's next year. I don't know why. I'm not believing it's coming this year.
Yeah, I feel like this is a great year if you want to try something kind of like off the beaten trail. Because I feel like this was supposed to be such a crowded fall, mostly because of GTA. And now it's like kind of chill.
Yeah, so I think Borderlands is still set to come out this fall, though.
Yeah, I think that's still set. But yeah, it's just crazy. And like there's totally lots of games, but it just feels like a lot of the games that we were kind of counting on are shifted.
Mm-hmm.
All right, since topic of the show is going to be about the games Kat and I are playing, let's play a game. As this is a podcast, a video game podcast, so let's play a podcast game about video games. It's my day today. And I don't know where I got inspiration. Somewhere on TikTok, I got inspiration for this game. It's a new one for us. It's called What Came First? So, Kat, the concept is I'm going to give you a year and 2 games that released, and you need to tell me which one released first.
Okay.
All right. To give you an example, I have a round 0.
Okay.
So, 2017. Zelda Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn. Which released first?
Breath of the Wild.
No, actually.
Oh.
Horizon Zero Dawn came out on February 28th, and Zelda Breath of the Wild came out on March 3rd.
I thought Horizon was like in the summer.
No, it came out right before, which was like crazy because we were like, oh my God.
It was banger.
So
2017 was banger after banger after banger after banger.
2017 was a fabulous vintage.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. So technically, round one.
Okay.
2002. Kingdom Hearts and GTA Vice City.
That is spicy. Kingdom Hearts.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts released on March 28, and GTA Vice City came out on the 29th of October.
I felt like, like GTA's, I remember them being like fall releases, always fall releases, end of the year. So I was like, good educated guess on my part there.
For our next round, the year is 1998.
Oh, okay.
The games are Baldur's Gate and Banjo-Kazooie.
Goddamn. I did play Baldur's Gate. I didn't play Banjo-Kazooie. I did not have a PlayStation.
Wasn't that Nintendo? Banjo-Kazooie is Nintendo 64.
You're right. Hey. I am confusing it with Ratchet and Clank. Holy shit.
No, it is not Ratchet and Clank. And it's not, what's the other one? The runner, the Crash Bandicoot. It's not that either. It's Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, you're right. Banjo-Kazooie is the bear.
With the bird on his back.
Yes, that is Nintendo 64. I didn't have a Nintendo. My friend did.
Okay.
Goddamn.
Baldur's Gate or Banjo and Kazooie? Which came first?
Baldur's Gate?
No. Banjo-Kazooie came out on the 29th of June. Baldur's Gate came out on December 21st. Isn't that weird?
That is such a weird release window. Yeah. I did not remember that.
Yeah. I'm going to look it up again because I could have been high or something when I was looking it up. But I really first release date, Baldur's Gate, December 21st, 1998. I had it written right. I'm like, that's crazy. Who releases a game just before on the winter solstice? Or maybe that was intentional.
Maybe. I forget the story of the original Baldur's Gate. Like, I haven't played in decades. But it might make sense, yeah.
Okay. Round 3. 2009. Dragon Age Origins or Assassin's Creed 2?
Oh, I should know this.
Do 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 do.
Fuck. Assassin's Creed 2?
Assassin's Creed 2 released on November 17th. Dragon Age Origins released on November 3rd.
Oh, that was a red herring. I was like, they release so close to each other.
They do. And they're naturally, like, usually fall releases. Yeah. That's the thing that I was worried about with doing this, too. It was like, we got so trained into all big games come out in September, October, November, right? For the longest time. But you'd be surprised. You go through and you're like, who would have thought Kingdom Hearts would have came out that early? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But at the same time, Kingdom Hearts is...
it's a Japanese game.
It's a JRPG, right? And they tend to do releases more like spring, summer. So,
all right, we've got 2 left.
Okay,
2013, The Last of Us, BioShock Infinite. Decisions. Think back to when. What were we doing in 2013?
The Last of Us, I remember getting our advanced copy just before we left for E3 2013.
Correct.
So that was summer. But now I have to remember when BioShock. If it came out like early year or fall. I'm going to go with The Last of Us.
First?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, BioShock was first.
God damn.
March 26th, and Last of Us came out June 14th. That's the hard thing, too, is remembering when release dates are when you're jumping into games early. All right. This one's a goodie. 1992.
Oh, God. Okay. Like girl, we were what? Fucking 8? 7?
I was, 8. Mortal Kombat or Super Mario Kart, which came first?
I truly don't. There's no way I would know this. Mortal Kombat.
You're right.
Finally.
So here's the thing. Mortal Kombat, I searched online. All it says is August. I don't know what day. It just says August. No day. Super Mario Kart, September 1st. Like August, and then the one day after.
Just a 31-day window. Hey. And then the following day for your MK games. I love it.
So September 1st for Super Mario Kart. That was what came first. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was a bunch of educated guess, and it went as well as I imagined.
Come on now. Most of these times when we play these games, it's usually educated guesses. Yeah. Sorry.
Let's face it. Yes, we're not good at this. It just makes for good listening.
Yeah, it makes for good entertainment when we realize how much we screw up and we don't remember these things, or how bad we are with actually reading the stuff that's happening in video games. When I was playing Ritual of Raven yesterday, and I was just like, I just want to get to the farming part, and like kind of jumping through the talking story. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is why I'm terrible at that game Joelle prompted us with.
Yeah, not reading at all. There you go.
Reading, yeah, you can do it sometimes. All right, well, let's take a wee break, and we'll come back with topic of the show, which is 2 game reviews, or in my case, mostly just like a first impression. We're going to be looking at Is This Seat Taken and Ritual of Raven. We will be right back. Okay, we're back. It's time to do topic of the show. As I had mentioned before we ran away so briefly, that this week we've been playing video games. Catherine sunk her teeth into Is This Seat Taken, which Shadow dropped last week, as we recently talked about. Catherine, I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on this one, as I have a code, haven't had a chance to jump in yet, but is very, very intrigued.
Yes. Shout out to Pop Agenda. I don't know if I mentioned last week, they also gave us the codes for Make Room.
Oh, yeah.
And then they also gave us the codes for Is This Seat Taken? And my plan was to play Is This Seat Taken during the vacation, and then just whenever the embargo drops to like be like, all right, next episode I review, and then they shadow dropped. I spent the whole weekend playing it. As I mentioned, feverish. What else was I going to do? I was definitely not going to play Final Fantasy 16. Still have not retried my boss battle for the dragon. Anyway, that's a problem for me tomorrow. So I just kind of like queued Is This Seat Taken. I even took my laptop like to bed and played. It was really good. Here's what I didn't expect. The premise of Is This Seat Taken is you have little shapes, and they have a preference. You know, it's maybe they're sitting in a boat to take a tour in a canal. Maybe they're taking the bus. Maybe they're taking the train. Maybe they're in a co-working space. And then, you have somebody that's like, all right, it's a co-working space. Somebody's like, okay, I'm hot, so I want to sit next to the air conditioning, and I need a computer. And then somebody is like, I need to focus on work, so I can't be sitting somebody who's next to yapping. Then you have 2 shapes that are like, we're meeting together to talk, to do a meeting. Somebody has a video call. And then it's basically a puzzle game of putting every shape in their place and everybody happy. What I didn't expect was that there's actually a through line, a narrative that takes you through the game.
Oh.
So you have Nat, a little rhombus, which is an uncommon shape. who wants to be an actor. And through their travels through various cities in Europe, like London, Barcelona, and also even a trip to New York, they meet people, they learn people, they do acting workshop, and they make their own little movie. And then you basically get this whole story of Nat meeting these people, these other shapes, and then themselves, kind of a cute coming of age story, right? Very, very simple, but definitely enough for you to be like, okay, this is why it's not just like, okay, here's a room, sit, have the shapes be in the right area, right? It takes you through the story. So, like, let's say I'm in the airport and I'm organizing these shapes, and some shapes are like, my flight is this number, so you have people that you have to line up for the gate. Other shapes you have to put like in the waiting area, and then somebody's like, I need to charge my phone, so you put them near. There's always a bunch of shapes that forgot to shower and smell bad, so it's very very realistic.
For real?
Yes. So you have shapes that are like, this is me. Like, there's a shape that's like, I want to be sitting alone and I'm sensitive to strong smells. So you have to put this shape alone, and you have to avoid shapes that are wearing too much cologne or haven't showered.
Oh my God.
10 out of 10 realism there is the seat taken. And, like every little shape, they'll have a VFX on them. Like if they haven't showered, they kind of look like that character from Charlie Brown. They're.
Oh my God.
They have if they're wearing too much cologne, you can kind of see like little, it's almost bubbling off of them. And then if somebody is like watching movies on their phone, they're clearly like holding up a mobile phone, and it's really, really interesting because, like, okay, like let's say you're in the airport, so you're organizing your little shapes, like, I am taking this flight, so I'm like, okay, put you in line. It's like, I have a VIP pass, and I want to be first in line, and I don't want to be next to a child. And I'm like, all right, same, but okay. But then you have like somebody that's like, I have a VIP pass, and you're like, okay, put him. And then there's a child that says, I want to be with my parent who has a VIP pass. So now you have to put the parent, make sure that the child, there's a shape between the child and the person that doesn't want to be, stuff like that, right? It's dumb as heck. But it is at the same time, like, same. Like,
how do the shapes tell you? Do they just like come up to the like wicket or something, and you're like, I want to be placed? Or like, do you see all the shapes at once and you can move them around? Like, is it that in cases where you like put one shape down, then you realize you have to move it because you need that spot for somebody else, and you have to like rearrange a bunch of shapes at once? Like, how does that kind of interaction go?
Basically, the center of the screen is like almost like a square.
Okay.
And this is your scene where you have to put the shapes.
Okay.
And then on the sides, you basically have little, like a holding area with all your shapes. So depending on the type of scene, like the airport, there's usually left and right, and then the airport's in the center. I've noticed for the co-working space, they're just kind of like lined up on the right side of the screen. Okay. When you do like the train is like long, so it takes the top, and then they're all waiting on the platform. There it is. Words are hard.
Words are hard.
And then you kind of hover over them, and they tell you, what their requirements are. And, like, let's say you hover over a kid and they're like, for the train, they're like, I want a window seat and I want to be sitting with my parents. When you hover, they'll also put an arrow over the shape that's their parent. Then you can hover over their parents, and then they have their requirements and things like that. And you have shapes that are very restrictive in what they want, and some shapes that are a bit more loosey-goosey. And it's basically a puzzle piece. So, and essentially, as you kind of like, every time you, like, let's say the airport, you place your stuff, and then it updates. Like, let's say, okay, this first flight left, so it'll empty where all the stand up where the shapes were lining for the gate. It'll empty, and then the holding area will have more shapes. And then maybe at this point, Nat shows up with their friend. And then you get a bit of the story being like, hey, okay, I'm so excited to go to New York. And yeah, we have a bit of time to wait for our flight. So, you know that you'll cycle through flight. And then when you look at your scene, then some of the shapes that you've placed, like, like in the waiting area, more like sitting by the gate, like in the seats, where they're like, I need to charge my phone. I want to be sitting near the gate and stuff like that. You'll see some of them went from looking content to looking uncontent, because now it's like, oh, okay, they're on the next flight. And if you place, like a shape next in a situation where they don't want to be, they'll have little bubbles over them saying, if they're, if they wanted to be alone and you put a shape right next to them, it'll say personal space, things like that. So some of these got really challenging. Maybe it was the fever. I don't know, but it was not like an easy one and done. I had to sit and think about it. And come after, a lot of these levels are different, but they repeat, right? So like, Nat travels a lot. So the train comes back. The airport comes back. The co-working space comes back. Like, it's basically, you have about 4 or 5 that rotate. And that's for the main story.
Uh-huh.
And every time you finish a city, you get to a new city. And if you've for every level, you get to accumulate a certain number of stars. And if you get the maximum amount of stars, so for every shape that is happy, you get a star. So I maxed out all the stars, and that unlocks you per city. It unlocks an extra level that has nothing to do with the story. Nat is not there. One of them was speed dating. And you just had to make couples. Like, you had a shape that was like, I want an intellectual. I want somebody with a mustache. I want somebody who can make me laugh. I don't want somebody wearing a big hat.
Oh my God.
And you just kind of move shapes around and things like that. There was one scene, it's like at the park or at the beach. And then, some shapes want a suntan. Some shapes are sunburn easily. So you either put them in the shade or sitting next to somebody, a shape that says, I have sunscreen to share. Things like that. So you have to, yeah. And then you have like shapes that want to yap, but shapes that want to read. You have to put enough distance between the shapes that want to read and yap. But maybe in between that, there's a shape that smells, and the yappers don't want the smell. And it's,
yeah,
it is honestly amazing. It was such a good game. I think it's like, all in all, it's maybe a 5-hour game to complete. I want to say about an hour ish per city. There's like 5 or 6 stages with all the extra stages and stuff. It was really, really good. It was really simple. It was like Make Room. It was like straight to the point.
But it had a game to it. Make Room is like fairly basic and leans more into the creative side of it. This is a puzzle game. Yeah, this is very much puzzle. The artwork is so interesting, Kat.
It is so good. It's so simple, but it works.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if you can play with a controller. I thought it was easier to just play with the mouse and keyboard. I even played this is one of the rare games I play, like when I played, like I said, like just grabbing my laptop, I played with like the touchpad.
Oh, nice.
Because it's easy. You just kind of drag it. You hover over a shape, you drag and drop them. And
would this be a good mobile/iPad game?
I think so.
I know it's out on Switch. I'm curious to see if there's touch controls.
There's probably motion controls. They got to be.
Can you touch the screen on the Switch? Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing there's possibly touch control. There's most likely motion control where you just kind of use your Joy-Con and you click and you move shapes around.
Yeah.
A bit like you do like a mouse and keyboard. I'm pretty sure with the Switch 2 you can do the mouse thing. It must be fairly easy to play with a controller as well. You just hover over the shape and then you A to grab it and you A to drop it or something like that. It's there's not a lot to this game other than figure out where everybody needs to sit and swap shapes around. And then basically every stage has like phases. So shapes move in and out. Like, like I said, like at the airport, you'll rotate through, you'll be sitting on one gate, and that one gate will probably have like 3 or 4 flights departing. If you do the co-working space or the train, like the train at every station, shapes get off, and some shapes want to come in. So you'll have to move some shapes that, you placed at the first train station. You might have to move them again. Things like that. So it's always like you start, you do a thing, and you're like, cool, I did it. And then it just kind of like moves, and then it's like undoes all your work. And it's just like, okay, do it again and do it again partially. And then the train also has a little baggage compartment that has like a little grid, and then you got to place the little baggages.
Oh
Those
my
are
God.
Yeah. So maybe this baggage takes 2 vertically, and then the next one takes 2 horizontally, and there's always somebody with a fucking saxophone that takes and somebody at one
It's
point
Tetris.
Yeah. And that one takes like 2 vertically and one up. So, it creates a little nook. So you hope that you have like somebody who has like a smaller bag that can fit there. At one point, like one of them, somebody had garden shears across.
They were traveling with garden shears?
Yeah. And the shape that the garden shears took was a cross. So it took 5 squares.
Oh my God.
Middle, up, down, left, right.
Oh, that's annoying.
I struggled so much with at one point, like, like the train, I was like, I'm on it. I got this. I was in the zone. Like, stinky shapes are away from people that don't want to smell them. Like, everything's good. The yappers are over there. The readers and the sleepers are over there. People that want the AC are next to the AC. And then I turned to the luggage, and I was like, motherfucker. I spent a good like 5 to 10 minutes on the fucking luggage, just being like, what's not clicking? Holy shit. Why are you bringing gardening shears? Why are they so large? It's just, I got angry at the idiot. It's just like, forget the shapes that don't shower or the yappers. Like, why do you have gardening shears, and why are they so hard to place? But yeah, it was, I found myself like, if you love puzzle games, like, honestly, this is great. It's also like Make Room in the sense that it's $10 maybe.
Sweet.
Goal max.
Yeah, I have the code, but I'm like, it would be kind of nice to just sit on the couch and play on the Switch, or play it because I do have travel coming up. Should I play it then?
It's on Steam right now. It's on sale for 10% off, but like the full price is $15 Canadian.
That's pretty good.
So that's usually means like for American, it'll be like around the $12 mark or
$9.99 or something like that.
Yeah. Honestly, for the price, yes. It's amazing. It's really good. The barrier to entry is very low. This is a good game for children also, by the way.
Learn spatial awareness in a sense.
Yeah, it's a very simple game. It's a puzzle game. Like, I can see like my nephew and my niece that are like, 8 and 10 or 9 and 11. They could easily play this and really enjoy this. Like, I personally enjoy it because I love these kind of like little cozy puzzle games. But this is stuff like Make Room and the Seats Taken is accessible in the sense that it's like, it doesn't take much to run the game.
Yeah.
It's not expensive.
Yeah.
And a lot of gamer types and children can play it. And it's something that as a parent, you can share with your child as well. Like, I could see like, this is the kind of shit that I would maybe play. And then my mom and my friends would sit next to me, and then we would collectively try to do these puzzles together, like staring at the big screen. That's the kind of game where like, I can actually see like, my mom being like, wait, didn't this shape say they wanted a burger, but then that one was fries, so you move shapes around the diner and shit like that. And it's just really, really, really cute and very well done. And it's a very well thought experience. So I was really happy when that code landed in our inbox. I was going to pick it up no matter what.
Yeah.
Probably on the Switch, but yeah, and it's... a potato can run it. So if you've got a low end PC, like the minimum is it just says DirectX 11.0 compatible video card for both the minimum and the recommended. So
Well, there you go.
it's like you got a laptop, it has video, you got direct, you can play. Like the processor, they're just like, you have one? Yes, play. You can play.
Love that.
Yeah.
I ended up picking up another indie game as well. This one, though, I've been watching for a little bit. Kind of, I think I saw it at another one, Wholesome Direct or something like that, and then forgot about it because that happens. There's so many games that get announced, and then it takes forever for you to get them. But I have like a slew of YouTubers, like cozy game YouTubers, and every month they'll put out a new thing or being like, games coming in August that you should check out. And this one was mentioned, Ritual of Raven. And I was like, ooh, oh yeah, I remember being intrigued by that for 3 reasons. First off, the colors, like anything that has bright purple, orange, green, like those electric colors draws me in. Secondly, it's a farming sim.
Of course.
Third, the twist on the farming sim, programming.
Programming.
Like, yes, ma'am. So the concept of this is that your character somehow gets magically transported through this portal and you just end up in this new world. And you're like stuck there. And you end up meeting this sage who's like, oh my God, the portal opened. You came through it. You need to help me. My familiar, because I'm a sage and a witch and whatever, my familiars went through a magical portal like you just came through. And you need to help me. And then you're like, okay, cool. What do you mean this place is magical? Because you didn't think magic existed because you came from the real world. They're like, yeah, this place is magical. You can do things and come through these portals and all this kind of stuff. And the sage is like, I'm going to teach you these things. So the sage teaches you a little bit. But then all of a sudden, another portal opens and the sage leaves. And you're like,
okay, thank you.
Now what? Now what?
Yeah.
So you start exploring the land and meeting some other people, some other villagers, some other characters who also managed to magically come through a portal and just end up in this world. And everybody's like, okay, well, like, how are we going to do this? How do we get back to where we're supposed to be? How about if we want to stay here? Like, how do we deal with these portals? And it's all based around magic. The magic all comes through you creating spells and rituals and, conjuring. So in order to do this and learn how to, collect all these items and farm items, you need the power of what's called arcana constructs, because a lot of the flowers and items and things that you grow, if you pick them up, like say you harvest them, it eliminates all their magical powers.
Okay.
So these arcana constructs look like little pots, like flower pots, like a terracotta pot or something like that. Or I've seen a few that kind of look a little weird. I can't really figure out what they are yet. I'm fairly early in the game. So in order to gain one to be part of your arsenal so that you can farm, you have to solve a puzzle of their tarot card. So usually that relates to learning how to control them. So it's kind of your tutorial methodology throughout the whole game. And in solving that puzzle and getting the tarot card, you've essentially gotten their heart, and now they are part of your team, your army, your farming army that you can use. So as you go through and you're like, okay, well, I want to plant some pansies. How do I do that so that they grow properly and they don't just like lose their magical powers? Because I need to be able to, open up another portal or do some other magical instance. And so I need these flowers. Through a deck of cards that you obtain throughout either learning the game mechanics as you go through normal progression, or you can buy them from certain NPCs, you can use these cards, which has commands on them, to tell the constructs to do things. So very first thing is plant. So you open up the construct to enchant it. Enchanting essentially is telling it what to do, setting it a program. When you get into there is where I've started so far is there are essentially 2 tabs. One of them is like a movement or plot. Like you could have grids of plots, like you say, do everything on this 3x3 grid or 2x4 grid or something like that, or move. So there is a card that you can tell it to move, and you can use the cards umpteen times and tell it to go multiple spaces.
Okay.
So say I'm doing the grid one first. I'm saying, okay, I have this plot of 3x3, and you put that card up. Then you go into like the action tab. And the action tab has a series of cards. Right now I've got one that is to what do you call it when you dig up the soil to get it ready?
Toilet?
Toil the soil? Yeah.
I think.
So you, first off, I want to tell the system, okay, well, the ground is just grass right now. Toil the soil. So you take that card and you move it up to next to the card that indicates that plot. And then I want to tell it, okay, after you're done that, plant the seed. So you give the seeds to the Arcana construct, you put that card in, and then it'll go and plant the seed. Then afterwards, you're like, okay, we got to water the plants. So then you put in the third card saying, hey, in that group, do that action item. And then there's even like, I got one where it was like an extra bit where you can do like, almost like you're giving it like fertilizer. So it's like faster growing, but you can only do that if the plot has already been watered. So say for my 9x9 grid to grow my pansies, I have 3x3 grid. I've got the one card that is the grid. And then within that, I'm telling the system, okay, till the soil, plant the seed, water it, give it fertilizer, water it again. And then you tell it to run. And the little machine goes and does it. So you get more of these Arcana constructs as you go. You get more plots of land that you can do. Last night, the last thing I did is apparently you can get like at 8 a.m. each morning, you tell the system to go do it instead of you like going in and pressing play or telling it to do what you want it to do. I think too, like I'm starting to think methodically about this, and I'm like, I had 4 different plots with 4 different Arcana constructs on it. I'm like, well, couldn't I just set it up so I have one Arcana construct that just does a different thing in each plot? I can do that. So, and then I started looking at some of the other things that you can buy, different cards, and I'm like, there's one that's like a loop, and I am starting to go down into an area that has something to do with crystals now. So I believe there's going to be some sort of thing where I can like mine. And all of this with the intention of eventually you want to try and get back to your native world, right? And figure out what the heck is going on in this place. You're also meeting friends, and there's a whole mechanic around the moon and different growing plants, ones that you kind of forage and then ones that you grow, interacting and transforming depending on what phase the moon is in. Yeah, I'm barely scratching the surface, but the concept of doing a farming sim with this whole like programming mechanic. Now, I've never really gotten into like Factorio or any of those games, and I really think I should. Like, it's always been there. Like, I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos and of Let's Plays and things like that. So I've always been intrigued by those kinds of like system building games. This is really interesting to kind of take it with the farming sim side, but then have this cutesy, pixel magical kind of stylings to it. Usually when you see those types of games, they're very much like you're building a factory and it looks like a factory, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of part of the coolness, is like the metal looks like metal, and it looks like a real like in Satisfactory it looks like a real like conveyor belt going and all that kind of stuff. Like it looks like it would in real life. This doesn't at all.
I mean, it's gorgeous though. It's beautiful, and it's really cute. And like I'm looking at the screenshot on Steam, like the little tarot card thing. It's like anybody that did any kind of visual scripting, like i.e. like blueprints in Unreal and stuff like that. That's basically what this is. You just make, you drop a node and you connect them, and if this, that, and then do this in this sequence. That's basically what this is. And I'm actually super intrigued. I'm loving this.
Yeah, I think it cost me $27 or something. I'm playing on Switch 2. Looks gorgeous on TV, as I'm connected with Switch 2. to open up your lands and stuff to be able to get to other places. Obviously, there's story progression and you have to do things. There's a bunch of fetch quests and everything, but they're kind of like timed out because they force you to kind of like make the day cycle play out. Also, you need certain items, you can farm them and all that kind of stuff. But then there's also these like vials is the best way I could, glass jars maybe, that are in different spots across the land too, where you can grant access if you can fill up some of them. So one of them was I needed like a root from a forageable item. That was super easy. I needed a flower from a forageable item, and then I needed the leaf, like a pansy leaf. So I had to harvest the pansies before they had flowered. Like that was key, because there are stages in the growth that you need to kind of follow at the same time too. So it's like in some cases maybe you do want your little construct like going automatically, but you want to watch, because maybe all of a sudden you're just getting all flowers and what you actually need is the leaves in order to do the recipe, right?
Okay.
So yeah, it's uber cute. There's a whole decorating mechanic. I'm not even down that far yet. I really like the little characters. They're the illustrations of them are very, very interesting. It all seems like there's anthropomorphic. Is that where you have the animals that are like humans? Anthropomorphic, yeah. And then there's like humanoid characters, and then also maybe some like magical creature style characters. Like there's one dude that's like a bard, and I feel like he's like, he kind of looks like a centaur or something. I don't know. It just looks like half human, half creature, that kind of thing. So it's definitely like, you can understand like why this world has been weirdly populated by all these odd characters that no one kind of really goes together, yet they do, because they all magically just got warped to this space and got stuck there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cute and I'm liking it. I can't wait to play more of it and really dig into the systems, because like I've probably played like 4 hours or so, and 5 hours I'm just scratching the surface at this point. I want to know how intricate I can make these programs to get it to farm.
I realize, like, I'm like, the reason you haven't restarted Tweet 2 times to min-max, I figured, is because you're not far enough to
here's a mechanic too. I don't really need to min-max it, because it realizes you're going to want to reuse functionalities or functions or programs that you build. So you have the ability to save programs, and say you save a program, you can clear out, you can load a program and then go into it and say, maybe I saved the program where I was doing like a plot that was and they give the plots numbers, which is super handy, but plot 2 was a 3x3, and now I want to send this creature to go do something at plot 3, which is a 4x2. So you can go in and edit the cards and say, no, I want it to use this one instead. And then maybe it doesn't have the right seeds. Well, you can go onto the seed card before you run it and say, hey, change it out for these seeds instead. Instead of the pansies, do the lavender. And then hit play and let it run. And it's kind of cute when it fails, like it can't do something. Like if there's grass that you didn't pick and you didn't tell it to clean up, it can't till the soil. So it makes this like weird grumbly noise with like an exclamation above his head, and then moves to the next spot and tries again. If it runs out of seeds, like say you have a plot that's 9 and it only has 8 seeds, the last one it grumbles and then it kind of just like shuts down because it's finished, because it did what it needed to do to the best of its ability. So yeah, like I haven't encountered a case where like I did something and totally screwed up. Like everything seems pretty salvageable. Plus, where it's early enough in the game, I think they've set it up so that like you can't really majorly screw up to start. But yeah, and it seems to go pretty fast. So I don't even know if I need to. The min-maxing is going to be in building my programs.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, I was looking at the price right now. It's part of there's a bit of a sale for indie games. But it's at full price. It's 20 Canadian on Steam right now.
I think I bought it on Switch. So
Nintendo tax.
A little bit of Nintendo tax, and that had a discount, like a 10% off anyway, because it was like I think it came out on Thursday of last week, and then I bought it on Friday.
There's for both games that we talked about today, for is the Seat Taken and For Children of Raven, there's there's a demo available to download on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are interested in trying out these games.
Yeah. It's pretty fun. Gotta say.
It looks really cute. Like, I haven't played a farming sim in a hot second, but this one is like, it got me intrigued.
Yeah. The whole, there are a few things that I think some UI stuff that I probably would change. It may be that I'm just getting used to it. They use a highlight of a hot pink kind of bar that goes around as you're trying to select your cards, or if you want to clear it out, or you want to modify something in your program. Sometimes I find it hard to figure out what thing is selected and what thing's not. Just because I'm like, what? And I had to like check. Like, I wish it was a little bit more in your face about where my cursor is, because I'm looking at it and there's so, like, it's not like there's a lot of information on the screen, but like there's enough things to look at that I can be easily distracted and I don't know where my mouse is. And the last thing I want to do is like screw up, right? You can stop the construct from doing the action that you did, but like, and maybe that's it. I haven't screwed up yet, but yeah, I just find sometimes that can be complicated. And it may be that, you know, on a computer it'd be easy because you just pointed with the mouse, but I'm playing on Switch, so I'm using the controls, right, to kind of like scroll through and move around with the analog sticks. So
yeah, you're using it's just a focus that moves and you gotta move shit around. It's not like a reticle like in Destiny that you move.
Right.
Yeah, you want that focus to be very visible so that people know where they are. I had that problem with Clair Obscur.
Not knowing what you had. So what is the active item?
Yeah, or what's selected, because when you open, like, let's say your management screen to go play with your Pictos, spend your skill points, stuff like that, you kind of open it and it's like you pick on a character, but then I forget where they had the default for the focus, but it was like somewhere, I think, like at the complete bottom right or upper left corner. And when you tend to look at the middle of the screen, I was just like, what the fuck do I have selected? Because it was all the way to the edge of the screen. So I was like, and it's just like this little effect of one thing has like these little particles in the background. Like, it wasn't like a big white square, which is like, it's pretty and everything, but maybe like sometimes you're just like, I get that it's pretty, but I can't fucking see it.
Yeah.
And I'm playing on a big ass screen. Like, I often, like, I would just kind of like move my cursor until I see it. Basically the game equivalent of shaking your mouse until you find your cursor. Just like, where the fuck is my...
I've done that a few times where I've just like rolled my thing around and just saw the animation. I'm like, oh, that's where it is.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. One of the things I do like too that they did is like, when you're building your program out, it can essentially, or it does, take over the entire screen because they have it like blown up so you can see it. But say you want to kind of get a gander, and here's a preview, and you can kind of, say you're trying to move your character to different spots, you can hit a button and it'll kind of like collapse it smaller, so at least you can see where you are, and it has like a grid on it, like marked off of where you've essentially put it right now. So if you go and change instead of going one to the right, I want to go one to the left. When you go and make that update on the card before you run it, it'll show there on the screen. So that makes it easy for you to kind of preview what you think you're going to get. But yeah, it's really cute. It's almost like teaching you how to program.
Yeah. It's just basic logic. Do this first. Once that's done, you can do that and this and that. And like, if this, then that.
Yeah. I thought at first too, it was going to be like, okay, well, plow all the things first and then do all the seeds and then do all the watering. It doesn't do that. It goes cell by cell. It'll complete a cell and move on to the next cell and move on to the next cell.
Oh, so it'll till, plant, fertilize, water a cell, then it'll move to the next one.
Yes.
Okay. That actually kind of makes sense though.
It does.
And in terms of a farm, not in terms of like how you program it, but in terms of a farming sim, it kind of makes sense that it like goes square by square, because the point of, like farming sims, you often do like, okay, I'm going to till first because you don't want to switch like your stuff and you kind of like move around. But if it's automated, it doesn't matter if they do it all once or if they move around. So it's probably just in terms of just how they manage the game and how they manage like your little NPCs and that AI, it's probably simpler to just kind of like do cell per cell. Which, yeah.
The reason why it's called Ritual of Raven, you have a familiar because you're a witch, and it's a raven. And it's kind of like your guiding character throughout the game who you have conversations with when it's just you and the raven, unless you're going off and checking in with another villager and things like that. But yeah, so far, recommend. We'll come back next week and tell you how it goes. I don't know if we'll be finished or not. Depends on how deep I get down this rabbit hole of programming.
Definitely. I can see myself like just getting lost in that and just being like, all right, gonna make the best fucking robot ever.
Yeah, totally. With that, closes out our show for this week. As always, you can check out the show notes at girlsongames.ca for links to the stories mentioned in the episode. I'm sure Kat will put in links to these 2 games on Steam. Plus, they're both available on a Nintendo Switch as well, and hopefully soon on the other platforms. If you have the power to rate and review this podcast where you are consuming it, that would be much appreciated. Why? It boosts us up in the rankings. It helps with discovery. And also, any comments help us build our show. Thank you, Kat, for hanging out with me this week. Just the 2 of us.
Just the 2 of us.
Yeah. Shout out your social media so people can find you anywhere and everywhere online.
Yeah, I am CSDESBINS on Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, but I mostly hang out in the Girls on Games Discord, and I broke my social media silence to post photos of the last 20 years of Pascal and I together. There's that first photo of us together is a gem.
It is. It really is.
Amazing.
You look the same yet different all at the same time.
You say, like, did we really age? And then you look at these photos and you're like, yeah, we did. Especially Pascal's hair that just went from pitch black to completely gray in the span of those 20 years. But yeah, it's some cute photos.
Yeah, you're both ripped now. All that gym life. I am Leah Jua on most social media platforms. But of course, you want to know everything there's to know about Girls on Games. You can track us down at The Girls on Games on X and Facebook. Just Girls on Games on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky, and TikTok. Oh, Kat, that reposting thing that popped off now in Instagram, that is a brand new feature. And you can leave a comment. Joelle and I both left comments on the post in Instagram, and it shows up as like a little speech bubble. It's so cute.
Aww. Because I shared our rooms on Instagram from Make Room.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to plant a nice garden so we can share that.
Yeah,
the next time. Yeah. Discord.me/girlsongames to continue this conversation and more. But of course, if you ever want to know anything at all, you can track it down at our home base. That's our website, girlsongames.ca. Thanks, Kat. It's been another lovely week in video games. I'm off to program farming stuff. And what are you going to do? What are you going to play?
I'm gonna beat that dragon.
Do it.
Clive is gonna
do it.
Clive is just gonna be the best brooding Final Fantasy hero ever, and he's gonna beat that dragon to the ground.
Love it. Until next time, folks. See you later. Bye.